Nigel as a person, I think, is one of the most remarkable politicians that we've seen in a long
aye.
time, genuinely. And I get where you're coming from. I get why some people don't like him, because he is a Marmite person, but you need to be Marmite in politics if you're actually making a difference. If you're no Marmite in politics, if people don't dislike you, you're really not doing your job. Because the reality of politics is you need to be confrontational, you need to set your values up, you need to put them up, and some people like them, some people don't like them. So I get why people don't take to Nigel. I think he is one of the most remarkable politicians that we've seen in the past 20 odd years since Margaret Thatcher left us Downing Street.
What do you think he's done?
So when you look at the past 15, 20 years, Nigel Farage spoke about the same issues. So immigration, huge one. I remember when he used to go to the channel and to stop the boats, and it was 2020 or something like that, and he was stoning at the English at the channel, and people used to look and say, this is just a wee sad, lonely person trying to... He was highlighting an issue that is now a massive, massive political issue. He, for the past 15 years, has spoke about the economics and how taxation is going to kill working class people who want to try and get a job and get a chance in life. He spoke about that for the past 10, 15 years, and it's now where all the mainstream parties are having to move to. So when you look through his record, and not just the rhetoric that comes around him, because of who he is, there is a lot of rhetoric that comes around him, but when you look at what he's actually said and what he's done in the past 10, 15 years, I think he's one of the people who, and it's why the public mood's changed so much on him, because I think they can look back to 2010, as early as 2010, and he was saying the same things that he still says now and was campaigning for the same things that he still campaigns for now. I think he's got a massive foresight as to what's going on in the country and how people actually feel. So I think he is a remarkable guy, but it's not just because of Nigel Farage in reform. It's because of the whole party. So Richard Tice, I think, is one of the most intellectual people I've ever met. I remember meeting Richard at a dinner he held in Glasgow a couple of months after I had joined the party, and he gave this 40-odd minute speech off the cuff, no notes whatsoever, about net zero, scrapping it, how it's going to work in the North East, how we try and employ people, what taxation means. I'd been a Tory for 14 years, and I'd never heard somebody lay out so clearly, without a scripted note, what the economy matters, how you get people back into work, and why it's really, really important for working class communities. So it's not just Nigel, the whole team behind him, Lee Anderson, Sarah Poach, and these are people who really know what they're talking about. And then you look at the ethos behind reform. So the reason I went to reform, immigration is a big issue that I care about. But the reason I went was the economic argument. This idea that you take the taxation, when you start paying income tax for £12,500 up to £20,000, it'd be transformational for so many people that I know in the East End of Glasgow. So many young guys who are white van man, working away, doing self-employed, all this sort of stuff, who are hammered right now by taxation in Scotland. If you raise that tax threshold, transformational for them. And I think that sort of stuff is why I went to reform. So I get the noise that comes with it. It's always going to exist with Nigel just because of who Nigel is, but I do think he's one of the most remarkable politicians that we will see.